Hey there. Now, this is the dam at Hungry Horse Reservoir. This is one of my favorite swim holes. Now, I'm not sure if I picked a particularly great time of day to tape that the sun is blaring in my face, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it anyways because just in case I don't get up here anytime soon, this is where I'm at. Now, thought I'd start out over here. This is where I go swimming sometimes. Not very often because it's a little further up from my house. Now, there's a road going down both sides of this. So Hungry Horse Reservoir is part of the South Fork of the Flathead River. And if you keep on going, it takes you right into, I believe, the Bob Marshall Wilderness. If you can see those mountaintops over there, that's the Flathead Range. That's the Continental Divide. So this dam is the first one in the system it belongs to. And this river will go down, meet with the regular Flathead. All three forks come. There's three forks of the Flathead come together, and they go down to the Flathead River. I'm sorry, yeah. Well, that goes through the Flathead Valley, the river, and it goes to Flathead Lake. But then Flathead Lake turns into Flathead River again, and then there's the second dam in the system. So this means we get to drink from here first. How do you like that? Anyways, if you go down that way, that takes you down. Like, I would go down around that curve, maybe take the very first road. That'll take you up there. That's Doris Ridge. It'll take you to Doris Peak. You can park and out, walk. And then that's probably Columbia Mountain. That's if you go on the other side, it's called Columbia Falls, where there's a little waterfall, and that's what they named the town after. So if you go down this river, it takes you to the town of Hungry Horse, which is named after the Hungry Horse Reservoir. Yeah, I'll show you where I'm at. I went swimming at Lion Lake today, which is at the bottom of Lion Hill, which we're looking at. Yeah, that's where you go to get into the dam, I guess, if you work in. Funny thing is, they gotta put this sign here because people want to throw things off of here and write on here and stuff. Now, see if I can show you all that. So just think, this would be just a river if it wasn't for this dam. Now, I parked way over there just so I could show you from here to there. Keep it kind of short. When I started out today, I stopped off at the bridge where Highway 2 crosses this river. And I went into about, I didn't even get into up to my knees, I tell you. It was really cold, so I decided better off if I just go on up and jump in Lion Lake. So that's what I did. I went to Lion Lake and I made an awesome discovery. Now, I know somebody that goes up to Lion Lake and they dive in. I'm like, how in the heck did I do that? It's so shallow right there. However, it turns out there's some big rocks on the edge of the beach where it gets deep really fast, and I saw some other people fooling around. So I got to dive in a few times. Woohoo! My phone didn't die all the way, but damn near. At any rate, you might notice this mountain seems to have short fuzz on it. I'm really happy to see that because you can tell they've had a major forest fire. You can see all the dead wood standing, but beneath the dead wood is new growth. So, oh, it looks so nice. It's like a coat of green. Now, one year Rosie and I, she's an old friend of mine, talk about her a lot. We used to live up in this area. We would drive everywhere we can, and we discovered going back up that way. And we went up there doing 4th of July. That was a good idea. It was kind of fun going up there. No parking. That'd be a pain in the ass. Now, gonna walk into the shade here. Check out this building. That's where the workers need to go. Hungry Horse. Hungry Horse Dam. Now, if you go into town, you can buy the t-shirt that says Hungry Horse is the best damn town. Okay. Yeah, so I think some people get in down there and raft. Now, not right there. That's where the workers are only allowed to go, right? No vehicles. Oh, this makes me laugh. Please stay off the wall, because I was thinking about seeing if I could walk on this wall instead of the sidewalk, but I saw that sign. I thought I better not. I imagine there are people that need that warning. Now, this is just a hill. It's not a mountain. This is nothing but Line Hill. You can see where they've blasted away a little bit for our road. I figured you could go climbing right there, but then that would be private property that belongs to the dam here. So anyways, kind of look forward to getting down around this curve because the sun is kind of blinding. So I'm not sure how that video is going to look. I'm going to tape it anyway, see how it comes out. Now, I really enjoy that island. Look at that. See if I can show it to you. See that little island? Isn't that funny? It's probably just a little peak sticking out of the water, and it's got trees all over it. Oh my goodness, nice shot of my fingers. Hope you like that. Anyways, I thought that was really cool. If I could, I would probably swim out to it and check it out. I don't think there's a good place to get in over there. Yeah, so it's like, if you've never been in the mountains before and you just kind of come up from the Flathead Valley and say, hey, let's check out this dam, it makes you feel like you're deep in the mountains right off the bat. Like, that's how I feel when I come here. I feel like I'm just, well, you are, I guess. We're deep in the mountains right here. Anyways, we're looking at is, I don't know, I guess you could say this is one of the foothills. I don't know which mountains that belongs to, but those mountains are the Swan Mountains. It's just a really long, pointy ridge of mountains going way, way down, kind of like the ones across the water from it. And so they both go down, and they run kind of parallel, and that's what's feeding here. So the Continental Divide and then the next range over are feeding into this water, giving us the first water in the system. I like that. No, and what's funny is I used to live down in the Florida Keys, and living down in the Florida Keys, you're down at like the end of Florida and just barely above the water. Those are actually like the barrier islands that just continue on out into the ocean there. And the highest point in Key West itself was 18 feet above sea level. So I'm thinking a lot of those islands along the Keys are not much higher than that. They're probably not as high even. Just barely sticking out of the water right there. And now I live someplace where I'm pretty close to a Continental Divide in the Rocky Mountains, which is a very high place where some of the first water is. So everybody living down on the end. So this water's feeding into the Columbia eventually. So by the time they get it, it's pretty well used. So everyone's had a chance to pee in it by then. But here, barely any pee in it yet. Now the Florida Keys in Florida has been having a little bit of a problem with that stinky seaweed that comes in. And that's something we don't have. Phew, that stinky seaweed. I've never been in the visitor center. I see it there. I've walked around it. We parked beside it. But I've never been right in it. Yeah. No. I think I came up here on one of my birthdays. We were living up here summer of 2013. That was a fun time. I think we, really got the whole Hungry Horse experience. So when Rosie and I were living in the Hungry Horse area, we got my mom and a couple people, maybe one more person, and we went camping together. That was my birthday. How we were going to celebrate my birthday. I don't think we're allowed to use those stairs. Where I was saying that's probably off limits to the public. So this is it. I was thinking this dam probably makes you jealous if you're involved with the Hoover Dam, if that's what you depend on. With the Hoover Dam and everything it does for where you live, you're probably jealous because this one looks pretty good here. I don't see, like, it looks like it's at full pool. Everything looks good up here. I think when I went down to Flathead Lake, it also looked pretty good. So now, if you've seen any videos about the house I lived in last, where I moved out, I was living with Rosie and Gary in this little house that I moved out of recently, and it's kind of fun because it's a little bit connected to the history of this dam, in that they built these little houses and put them up here just for the dam workers to have a decent place. And I'm thinking, those are some pretty big houses for something that's only temporary, right? So I don't know how many there were, but the landlord who started that property bought 2 of them. And I've heard they're all around Kalispell. People would, when they bought them, I guess they just hauled them off and planted them where they had their property established. Very interesting. So, fun to think I lived in that house for a while. I was part of this whole damn history. Not to mention, I've had a chance to work in Hungry Horse. So when I lived up here in 2013, that's when I started working for Willow's Hookland. And so I was able to not only get to know the area, but a little bit about the history and what goes on here, which is huckleberry picking. This is one of the best places in the country to do your huckleberry picking. And like that mountain over there, you gotta find a place that's got some trees and some sunlight. If you go up in there, you should be able to find them. I think the Whitefish Range is a good place to find them. Like, this whole area is probably good for it. And then towards the keep going west, and all those mountains have good huckleberries as well. Now, I haven't had a chance to do too much huckleberry picking. That's the thing. Living up here, I learned all about it. They are some of the best damn little berries. Let me tell you what. So, just think, I was just standing over there between those 2 towers when we started talking. And now we're back over here, getting a different angle. So I kind of like this because I really wanted to get out of the sun a little bit. Can't really see. Anyway, so that's really fun that we had one of the little houses used by the people who worked here and built this dam. So I haven't heard any crazy stories about this dam, not like the Hoover Dam, right? They say there are a lot of dead bodies involved in building that dam, like maybe people have died and all that stuff. So who knows? That's probably just the case anywhere you do a big project like a railroad or anything, you know. So, my goodness. And the trip up here is always fun. It's a really nice windy little road right here. So it's really cool if you have a bicycle or a motorcycle or just, you know, a smaller vehicle. Anyways, this has been the Hungry Horse Dam and the Hungry Horse Reservoir